All right. Check and see everything's good. See, test the sound. Okay, yeah, that's good right there. All right. Shalom, Akim. Before I begin this live stream, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. And I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, all that rule very well, that continually rules well. Um, continually feeding the flock through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. For 30 years plus, still doing this work here strong. And, shalom, salutations, and peace and safety to the hopefully elect that's also doing this work in all faith, true, and sincerity, and all diligence. Now, the topic of this live stream, man, is going to be entitled, Sharpening Iron, which is pretty much is going to Daniel, the 7th chapter. All right. And pretty much, the base behind this live stream is, pretty much going to the book of Daniel and break down the 7th chapter. And to pretty much to sharpen the iron of the Akim. All right. Because, that's pretty much, what we do here at Great Millstone. We pretty much keep each other, pretty much keep each other, or should I say, keep our fires burning. All right. Keep our lights burning. And so that's what we do, man. All right. And that's why the scripture also saying that iron sharpeneth iron. All right. And by that statement, in other words, iron sharpening iron, in other words, we edify each other. All right. And we pretty much are going to different topics such as the prophecies or edification of the Akim, such as far as like, maybe like our lives or anything, man. All right. That pertains to the scriptures. But in this particular live stream, I'm just going to go through Daniel, the 7th chapter. Right. And pretty much bring out some different facts concerning the prophecies that are contained in Daniel, the 7th chapter, because this is pretty much one of the prophecies that have taken effect throughout the course of history, all the way up until now. All right, and you'll see that in just a minute. But once again, reiterating that iron sharpening iron. We're pretty much set up to do that. Because we're a brotherhood, man. All right, and we keep each other on our toes. All right, especially when we're out on the highways and byways, man. Because there's another scripture that says to answer every man, that pretty much has a question, or whatever question they pose, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, and so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get into these precepts and get to these facts. But just to continue on what I was saying, especially concerning Daniel, the 7th chapter, is one of those is one of those chapters or one of those prophecies that people get confused about, and they don't understand what they're really talking about. That people have a mixed interpretation about it, but the only ones that even have the interpretation is the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down, because Yahweh by Shem Shai, which is the Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh Shai. Those are the ones that the Lord is dealing with. Okay, and not only that, pretty much, especially concerning this thing of ours, Paul made a statement about one of the churches in the book of Revelations that speaks about and it escapes me right now what the church was, but he commended that church for searching the scriptures. All right, and that's exactly what we do. We search the scriptures. All right, we toil and toss in the scriptures, man. Okay, to get a better understanding of what's written and to understand the prophecies, because See, the thing is that we even know we speak about the prophecies or we speak on them, you know, the scriptures also tell you to prove all things. All right. And as we learn these prophecies, it's been proven that these are correct. They're 100% correct. All right. And not only that, as far as the facts lining up with the scriptures, you also have to be mindful of who's really of the truth, because the thing is, the only way you can tell somebody is even of the Lord, right, with whom people call God and Jesus, right? The only way that you'll know that is if they have the name, all right, and they teach according to His word, all right, to a T, without adding anything or taking away. Okay, so therefore, us here at Great Millstone, we have 100% truth, man. Okay, because we have the name, all right, and we stick to the script. Okay. Now, to go ahead and get into the precepts, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, starting at verse 1, and I'm gonna try not to make this live stream too long. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go back real quick. Okay. Now going back to Daniel chapter 7, verse 1, and it reads, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, and Belshazzar is the son of Nebuchadnezzar, in which Nebuchadnezzar in this scripture, or should I say in the book of Daniel, is actually Nebuchadnezzar the second. All right, Nebuchadnezzar the second was reigning during the time of Daniel, and then after he died, then his son Belshazzar took over. Okay, it says in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Verse 2, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and beheld the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Verse 4, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. Verse 7, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay. And so with that, let me go all the way back up to verse 4. It says, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. And which you see that in the course of history, especially the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Now, if you go into the Assyrian Empire, right, because this is what it's talking about, first and foremost, when it's talking about this first part as a lion with had an eagle's wings. Okay, so if you go look up a picture or pictures or the fine art, should I say, of the Assyrian Empire, you get images like this. Okay, which specifically is this one right here. All right, so this is what that saying in that verse is talking about the lion having eagle's wings and has the face of a man. Let me go back to it and read it. It says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings, right? Which we're seeing right here. That's talking about the Assyrian Empire, right? And then it says, I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. All right. Now, what it's talking about right here, where it says it lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, a man's heart was given to it. That's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. All right. In which his image, and actually referenced it as his image was put forth throughout that whole region. And this actually happened during the time of what these people call nowadays is Meshach, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, but like I said before, this is talking about Nebuchadnezzar during the time of the Babylonian Empire. All right, that's when the Babylonians started to rule. Okay, and it says a man's heart was given to it. Okay, so there you go. That does it for the Assyrian Babylonian Empire. All right, so the first one, or the first kingdom, should I say, that was set up, which is by the ordinance of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, was the Babylonian kingdom. Right, and actually you can go read it as well in the book of Daniel chapter 2 and at verse 31. All right, and let's see, maybe if I start with a few verses up, it'll give you more insight on it. All right, now this is Daniel chapter 2 verse 1, and it says, in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. Now, just to save us some time on the reading, pretty much he called his sorcerers and magicians, right? And they couldn't interpret his dream. All right. Now, if you go further down, let's see. All right. Now, this is at verse 31. It says, "Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible." All right. In other words, he saw a figure, right, a statue, right, standing before him. Okay. And it says, "This image's head was of fine gold, and his breast, his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay." Okay. And it says, "Thou sawest till the stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth." Okay. It said, "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation." It's like an interpretation thereof before the king. All right. So pretty much he was giving you or showing you that the image was the head was made of gold, and the breast and the arms was silver, and then the middle part was of brass, and then the thighs and the legs were of iron, and then the feet were of iron mixed with clay. All right, and then a rock which was carved out with our hands, as the scriptures say, smote the image on his feet to where it all fell to pieces, all right, into the dust, and there was nothing left. All right. And this is at verse 37. It said, "Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the most high heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold." He's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. All right, now that's the Babylonian kingdom. Okay. Now, all right, just to check that. Now let's go back to Daniel chapter 7 at verse 4 again. It says, "The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So once again, that's the Babylonian Empire. All right. Now this is verse 5. It says, and behold, another beast, a second, right, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. All right. Now the second beast says like unto a bear, right? And really it goes, there's a reason why it's given that depiction of a bear, which is that's a whole nother that's a whole nother video right there. It says the second is like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, right? And the reason why it raised itself on one side, because that's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. All right. Because that bear that's talking about here, the bear and the Medes are synonymous with each other. But when it says, and it raised itself on one side, in other words, it's saying that the Persians will pretty much overtake the Medes. All right. So first it was the Medes took over, and then afterwards the Persians became the how should I put it? Pretty much became the more powerful empire. All right. That's why it raised itself on one side. And it also says, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Now this is a piece of information. I think this is on ancient history encyclopedia, right? Now let's see what I got right here. All right. I lost my place. It's like, bear with me for 1 second. I lost my place of where I was. Yeah, I was kind of I was preparing myself earlier for this live stream, and I was reading through this information just to make sure where I want to start off from. All right. So actually, let me see if I can find it, because I want to get into the part where it speaks about the three ribs. So first, I'm gonna start from let's see here. Yeah, I'm starting with Cyrus the Second. All right, it says we are told that Cyrus was the grandson of I don't know how to pronounce that name. Astyages on his mother's side, but that did not stop him wanting to shake off the Median yoke. By 552 BCE, he had formed the Persian tribes into a federation and begun a series of uprisings. When the inevitable showdown with his grandfather came in 550 BCE, the Medes mutiny and joined Cyrus to march on Ecbatana. Cyrus took the title Shah, or King of Persia, and built a capital on the site of his victory, which he called Pasargadae, I believe that's how you pronounce it. It says, winning the Medes over had landed Cyrus with a vague, sprawling empire of countless different peoples. However, he faced cultural diversity, suspicion, and outright hostility. Lydia and Chaldean Babylon had agreements with the Medes. Neither felt comfortable about a Persian takeover. All right. And but it says Lydia was won because Cyrus did not play by the rules. In other words, Lydia was taken down, right? In which Lydia is one of those ribs that's in the teeth of the bear, right? That second beast. And also Babylon is as well, because the Persians also went up against the Babylonian Empire, which you see that the Babylonians were the previous rulers. All right, so which makes them one of the ribs. Okay. It says Lydia was won because Cyrus did not play by the rules. After an indecisive battle near the Halys River, one autumn, King Croesus returned to Sardis expecting to resume fighting in the spring according to custom. But Cyrus followed him home and captured Sardis itself, Lydia's capital and riches of the Ionian cities. A century earlier, Lydia had minted the first coins, making Ionia a hub of commerce. Now all this fell to Cyrus. All right. So there you go. Lydia pretty much fell. All right. Now, reading on this part, it says Cyrus, by contrast, saw cooperation as a strength, particularly when it came to securing the main prize, Babylon. All right. So Babylon was next on his sights, which that's one of the ribs. All right, it says rather than trying to take the world's greatest city by force, Cyrus fought a propaganda campaign to exploit the unpopularity of his king, Nabonidus. Babylon's traditions would be safer with Cyrus was the message. The gates were open and palm fronds were laid before him as he entered the city. Once in Babylon, Cyrus performed the religious ceremonies. Nabonidus had neglected and returned confiscated icons to their temples around the country. These acts enabled Cyrus to claim legitimate rule in Babylon, right? Rule sanctified by the Babylonian gods. He then explained what place this would take in his empire. His would be an empire based in effect on the kind of contract between himself and the various peoples in his care. They would pay the tribute, and he would assure all were free to worship their own gods and live according to their customs. So pretty much Babylon was next on that list, man. All right. Now, actually, I'm going to go up a little bit because it speaks about Egypt. Because Egypt is another one of those ribs that pretty much, how should I put it? Egypt is another one of those ribs in the mouth of the second beast. All right. So right here at the beginning, it says east of the Zagros Mountains, a high plateau stretches off towards India, while Egypt was rising up against the Hyksos, a wave of pastoral tribes from north of the Caspian Sea was drifting down into this area and across into India. By the time the Assyrians had built their new empire, a second wave had covered the whole stretch between the Zagros and the Hindu Kush. Some tribes settled, others returned their semi-nomadic lifestyles. These were the Iranian peoples. All right. Now, if you go to Iran today, man, those are pretty much the Iranians. That was pretty much now correct me if I'm wrong. Now Iran was pretty much Elam at one point. All right. Or should I say the Elamites are those Iranians, Slovakia. Now, if you go and ask them about their history, they'll pretty much tell you that their history goes back to the Persians. All right. In which those Persians, they were Iranians, in which the Iranians, they're Elamites. Okay. Let me check the live stream. All right, so there you go, man. Pretty much the Iranians, those are Elamites, and the Elamites will tell you about their history, which go back to the Persians. Okay. Now, let's see. Like all nomadic peoples lacking police and law courts, a code of honor was central to the Iranian tribes, and their religious beliefs differed from those of farming people. Whereas the farmers of Egypt and Mesopotamia had converted nature gods into city guardians, the Iranians had begun distilling them into a few universal principles. Okay. Now, let's see if I can skip down just a little bit. Let's see if I can find that info for you. So go further on down. Yeah, it's talking about Alexander. But in this article that I got up, it gives a little information about Egypt. But pretty much, let's see if I can go back real quick. See, maybe if I type in the takedown of Egypt, maybe it'll give it to me. Okay. So this is from it's from another website. Slovakia. Slovakia. Just 1 second. My internet's messing up. Satan messing with my technology. I had to type it in again, yeah, man, because Satan, I mean, it's always like this, man. Satan always messing with our technology, making sure, or um, trying to pretty much tamper with our technology and to make sure that none of this information comes out, man. All right, but through the spirit of Yahweh Shimon Shai, man, we're gonna uh, get through the whole lesson, man, the whole live stream. Bringing out this information, man. Okay. Now I want to get to the part where it speaks about Sambesis the second, because Sambesis the second, in which if you do research on Sambesis the second, which is one of the rulers of let's see, if I go down. Yeah, now it's not giving it to me. Yeah, Sambesis is one of the previous rulers of that empire. But if I'm not mistaken, Darius took him down and made himself a ruler. All right. And if I can just find that info. Okay, here it is. Now this is the King of Kings, right, in this section. Slakia. It says Cyrus' son and successor, Cambyses II, added Egypt to the Persian Empire. So that's exactly what I was looking for. All right, so if the Wadi, how about Shimei Shai, I was able to find that info for Yakim. But yeah, this is it right here. It says Cyrus' son and successor, Cambyses II, added Egypt to the Persian Empire. So once again, that's one of the last ribs in the mouth of the bear, or that second beast. Okay, so now you got Lydia that was taken down, and then you got Babylon that was taken down, and now you have Egypt that was taken down. All right, so those are the three ribs. Okay. It says, but then a revolt broke out at home, led, it seems, by a Midian priest posing as Cambyses' brother. So this is the information I'm talking about. If you do research on it, pretty much it'll tell you about this event where the person that was supposed to be a Midian priest was posing as Cambyses' brother, which is Cambyses II. All right. So in other words, a Midian priest was posing as Cambyses II. Okay. Now that's the information that they put out, but if more information comes out, then we'll see. But until then, this is what's in front of us. Okay. It says, whom Cambyses had secretly murdered. Cambyses hurried back, but died on the way, leaving one of his generals, a distant relative, to step in. All right. So Cambyses pretty much died on the way back, man. All right. And it says his name was Darius, or Darius the First the Great. All right. It's like, I think I said earlier, Darius, I'm not sure if I said Darius the Mede or not, but it's pretty much Darius the First the Great. All right. It said Darius the First killed the pretender to the throne, but uprisings were now breaking out all over, and he found himself having to reestablish Cyrus's conquest. Backed by the army and the noble clans of Persia, grown rich from imperial rule, Darius regained the empire and extended it into the Indus Valley, a prize worth several times more in tribute than Babylon. All right. So there's right there, man. Now going back to Daniel chapter 7. Okay. Daniel chapter 7 at verse 5 again, it says, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it had raised itself on one side, right? Like we said earlier, the Persians overtaking the Medes, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. All right, which those three ribs. If another info that to look into is and look into that word ribs, right? Because that word rib goes into stronghold, all right, or teeth, all right, which breaks down into stronghold, all right. So the three ribs or three strongholds, should I say, represented the rulers, right, which is or should I say, rulerships, or wherever you want to call it. But in this context, it's pretty much saying strongholds, of which those were the three main strongholds in the way of Persia or the Persian armies. So the three ribs were Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. All right. And it says, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said, thus unto it arise devour much flesh. So that's it for the Medo-Persian Empire. All right. That's verse 6. It said, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. All right. Now, this is going into the Greek Empire. All right. Starting with Alexander the Great, because the reason why is it has this beast was like unto a leopard is because the symbol that Alexander carried was that of a leopard. All right. And not only that, he was he pretty much has the leopard skin on pretty much with him during his battles. Okay. And actually they made a movie about it too. And I think the movie was just called Alexander, right? And it was a movie done back in 2004, right? And actually that's a scene from it right there. So this was the movie that was done in 2004, or was released on 2004, called Alexander. All right. And they also showed you in this movie about him having leopard skin on horseback. All right. Now, if you look on this right here, let's see if I can pull up a few images. Yeah, so here's one of the images right here. It's another one. And that's pretty much it, man. All right. So Alexander carried the symbol of a leopard, all right, when he was ruling, or when he was conquering, should I say. All right. Now, not only that, it says in the same precept, it says, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. All right. So in other words, it says four wings of a fowl, right? And it said the beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. So actually, that's going to during the time when Alexander was on his deathbed, and he was about to die. All right. See, now that leads up into his generals, right? That's why the leopard had four wings of a fowl and four heads, because it was divided up into four dynasties when Alexander died. All right, and was those four dynasties was the Ptolemaic dynasty, right? Was covered Egypt, right? And let's see, yep, which covered Egypt. All right, and the Seleucids covered this region, right? Was this whole region right here, which Israel is a part of that. And then you have Lysimachus, and then you have Cassander. All right. So oh yeah, and also too, just to throw a little known fact out there, the Ptolemaic dynasty, this is where you get those now if you notice, in the movies, they always speak about Egypt, or it's concerning the pharaohs. Now, if you go into any of these movies, especially about Cleopatra, Cleopatra was actually of the Ptolemies. All right, she was set up as a ruler at one point. All right, that being the Cleopatras, or the Cleopatras. All right, because there was more than one Cleopatra. All right, and then you have the rest that were made into pharaohs. All right, and if you actually look up images of the pharaohs during the Ptolemaic dynasty, you'll see that those are Edomites. All right, and the reason why they have those statues of pharaohs that still have the faces intact, like the lips and the noses, is because those are Edomites, man. Those are that was during the Ptolemaic dynasty. Okay, but the rest of the pharaohs that were before the Ptolemaic dynasty, they had the noses and the lips chipped. All right, those were Those are pretty much dark people. Okay. And the reason why I said dark people, because back during the ancient world, the only people that didn't have melanin were the Edomites, man. All right, but the rest of the nations had pigmentation in their skin. Okay, especially the Hamites, man. Especially the even the Egyptians. All right. I mean, that's a well-known fact. Now it's in 2017, man. People know the Egyptians were a dark nation, man. That's not fairy tale anymore. Okay. But going from there, I want to get the book of Daniel chapter 2, or back at chapter 2, and continuing on at let's see, where was I? Yeah, verse 39. All right, it says, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom, which the one that's speaking about right here, the kingdom that's inferior to thee, talking about the Medes and the Persians, right? And it says, another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. All right, so that silver part was the Medo-Persian Empire, right? And then that third part of the kingdom was of brass, which is the Greeks, or which we're getting into right now, which is that leopard with the 4 wings of a fowl and the 4 heads was going into the Greek Empire. All right. Now, going back to Daniel chapter 7, and it reads, it's like it lost my place. All right, this is verse 7. And this is one of the big parts right here of this chapter. It says, after this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, afore the beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. All right. Now, this particular beast that's talking about is going into the Roman Empire. All right. And not only that, even with the scriptures which speaks about the Roman Empire, if you keep reading in the same chapter, it's going to continue on to where it's going to start speaking about America, because right here in this scripture, it's not really talking about America, but it's talking about the Roman Empire. All right. Because like it says right here, it said it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and breaking pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before, and it had 10 horns. Now, you go to Second Esdras, right? Second Esdras chapter 12, and I'm starting at verse 10, because Esdras received a vision that was similar to, it's like it was similar to what Daniel was seeing. All right, and actually, this is the interpretation is given to Esdras, which Daniel didn't understand at that time. All right, it says, verse 10, it says, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest came up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare it unto thee. All right. Because in this particular precept, or this vision that Esdras received, was an eagle with eagle's body, right, with 3 heads and 12 manner of feathers. Okay. Because that was going into the Roman Empire. Now you got IUIC. At one point, they call themselves trying to go into this prophecy, Second Esdras chapter 11 and chapter 12, and they couldn't break it down because they said that it was talking about America. All right. But see, the thing is, whenever scriptures speak about an eagle or anything of that nature, it doesn't necessarily mean America. All right. Because guess what? The Roman Empire even carried an eagle. All right. That's the reason why Esdras received the vision of an eagle with 3 heads and 12 feathers, man. Because the symbol that the Roman Empire was carrying was the eagle with the letters SPQR at the bottom of it. All right, you can do a Google search on it and it'll show you. Okay. And it says, but it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare unto thee. So it wasn't told, um, what Daniel was, or it wasn't, explained on what Daniel was seeing. It wasn't received to Daniel. But now, when this time now is 2017, in this present time, Daniel's back, the reincarnation. All right, because the prophets are back in their same lot, and now they're receiving the understanding of what they were seeing now to this day. Because guess what? We know these things, and therefore they know these things as well, man. Okay, so that same beast that Daniel was seeing, that Ezra was seeing, that's talking about the Roman Empire. All right, because the one thing that the Roman Empire was known for was its vast army. All right, that's why it says it had great iron teeth, right? Because the teeth represents military might or stronghold, like I said before, going to the ribs, right? But in this instance, teeth is really broken down in this verse as military might. All right, that's why I say it has great iron teeth. It devoured and break in pieces, and actually, that's also going into the part where it speaks about the iron in the same chapter where it speaks. It's like in chapter Daniel chapter 12. That's like get my words mixed up. Daniel chapter 2, right? Now, if you go to Daniel chapter 2, it says something that is similar to Daniel chapter 7. It says, "In the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all things shall it break in pieces and bruise." All right. So once again, it's talking about that iron. All right. That's talking about the Roman Empire. And it says, and it had 10 horns. Okay. Now, in order to get the to the part where it speaks about the 10 horns, this is pretty much going to Revelation chapter 13, which we're going to get in a second. Now, this is verse 8. It says, "I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things." Now, let's see if I got more info. All right. This information that I got pulled up here is it's called the 3 city states, right? In which this is going into Revelation chapter 16, and this is just to show you that America, which is known as Babylon the Great, this is the revived Roman Empire. All right. Now that's why I was saying earlier about the book of Daniel chapter 7, where this is speaking about the Roman Empire. But if you keep reading, it goes into America. Okay. Now it's the book of Revelation chapter 16, verse 13. "And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." All right. Now, there's 3 unclean spirits like frogs, right? It says came out of the mouth of the dragon, right? And that dragon represents really goes back to the Roman Empire, but even still, it goes back to Esau. All right. But in this verse right here, this is equated to the Roman Empire, which is still Esau, all in all. Okay. And out of the mouth of the beast, Slacky, I missed the point. Where it speaks about the frog, which one of the frogs came out of the mouth of the dragon. This is falling right in line with Britain or England. All right, because that's where the economy comes out of, or that's pretty much where the economy goes back to. Because right now, these nations are reliant on the dollar, but pretty soon it's going to come a point in time to where these nations are not going to rely on the dollar anymore. All right, and the dollar is equated to the pound. Okay, that's where you get the if you look on this image, that's where you get the city of finance, right, which is the city of London. Okay, that's one of the unclean spirits. Was speaks about one of the unclean spirits is frogs, which one come out of the mouth of the dragon, right? Now, if you go back to the same verse, said out of the mouth of the beast, right? And that beast is actually going to Revelations 13, and that's also going into the U.S. or Washington D.C. Okay, because this is where the military comes from. All right, Washington D.C. You have the Pentagon. Okay, which once again, like I said before, the Romans were known for their military might, and guess what? America's also known for its military might. All right, but now as you see to this day, America is losing its power, man. Now these other nations are starting to get the same military power as America does. Okay, so once again, it's just going to another one of the city states, which is another unclean spirit, which is the frog, is representation of the frog, which comes out of the mouth of the beast, right? And then you go back to Revelations chapter 16, verse 13 again. It says, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. All right. Now, I mean, it's self-explanatory when it speaks about the false prophet, and we already know which one that one is. That's going to Vatican City, man. Vatican City is where the Pope is. All right, which is religion. All right, so that's out of the mouth of the false prophet, man. All right, so there's your three unclean spirits right there. Okay. But like I said before, the reason why I'm bringing out this info because this is just to prove a point that America is nothing but a resurrection of the Roman Empire. All right, which leads me to Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, so this beast that came up out of the sea, right? This one has 7 heads and 10 horns, man. All right, now the 7 heads and the 10 horns, see that the people get misconstrued about what that is too. But us in the know, we know what that is. All right. So it says 7 heads and 10 horns. This represents NATO in the EU. All right. It says upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right. And reading on, it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And you already know what the leopard is, which says that started with the Greek Empire, right? Which really is that's really the start of Esau's rulership with the leopard, starting with Alexander the Greek. All right. And it says in his feet, whereas the feet of a bear. Now, I mentioned earlier about the bear, which is the second beast, which I stated before that pretty much that's another video or another topic for another video, because that bear is falls right in line with the Medes. All right. Now, if you look at who carries the symbol of the bear today, you'll figure out what they're talking about. All right, because when it speaks about the feet, right, really when it speaks about anything concerning the feet is the end of something. All right. So wherever the end is going to be, pretty much that's where you'll find the bear. All right, that's why it says it has the feet of a bear. All right, and it said in his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. All right, so it says as the mouth is the mouth of a lion, right? Which once again, going back to that great iron teeth, right? And it says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And which, once again, that's Esau in general, but really where America gets authority from, really gets authority from Britain. All right, because guess what? Even though America claims itself to be pretty much, a national, pretty much a nation in itself, establish independence, yet you still have the presidents that have to make a trip to the other side of the world, which is Europe, and to visit the Queen. All right, or the crown. That's why in the book of Jeremiah it says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded in you." All right. In other words, Europe, or should I say Britain, really they don't care about America. They don't. Even if you have Americans that go over to that part of the world today, they'll look at them sideways, man. You know, they look at their own brethren, right, of the nation, Edom. They look at them as the lowest form of life, man. All right, from the French to the Spanish to the British, all of them, man. All right. So going back into the precept, it says, verse 3, it says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." All right. So this is the part where it speaks about the deadly wound being healed, and what's that deadly wound, or the heads that was wounded to death, and the deadly wound was healed. That's talking about the Roman Empire. All right. So the reason why this is written is because that lets you know that this place called America, which is called Babylon the Great in the scriptures, is the Roman Empire resurrected. All right. So the Roman Empire is back today, man. Okay. That's why, once again, going back to what I was saying earlier about Daniel chapter 7, where it says where it has 10 horns, man. All right. And that this scripture is going to, all in all, is going to lead to America. All right. Because once again, America is the revised Roman Empire. Okay. Now it's verse 8. It says, "I consider the horns and behold, there came up among them another little horn, and before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by its roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things." All right. So right here, man, says, came up another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by its roots. Right. So, in other words, it's talking about that little horn. Now this little horn is talking about America. All right. Now this is the part where it gets into America, because that little horn represents America, and the three horns that were plucked up by its roots. All right. It says, which is three of the first horns. Right. Now let's go to let's see. I had it pulled up. All right. So the first one, or the first of the horns, should be let's see. So the first one should be the French. All right, because this is one of the very first wars that were fought during the or should I say, like, leading up into the American Revolution. All right. So the first one was the French, right, which started with the French Indian War, which led up to the American Revolutionary War, right, in which pretty much I believe the French, or like it's, well, there's also facts about French playing an important role in that Revolutionary War, right? And then after that, you had the British American War, which is known as the American Revolutionary War. All right, you had the Patriots, which is of America, and then you had the British. All right, because America during that time was establishing its own independence. All right. So one of those horns was Britain, right? Well, Great Britain, and then that war was fought. And then after that, you had the Spanish American War, which came after the Revolutionary War. All right. So right there, you have your three horns that are plucked up by its roots. Right. Now let's go back to where it says that. All right. It says, "I consider the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things." All right. So once again, that's the French, starting with the French. All right. Then it was the Great Britain, all right, or the British, and then it went to Spain, or the Spanish. All right. And it says in this horn, which is talking about the little horn, were eyes like the eyes of man and a mouth speaking great things. Okay. So in other words, it's talking about your presidents, man. Okay. That's what I mean by the mouth speaking great things, because that's one thing that these presidents have a knack for, speaking great things, man. Especially back during the time of the one of the first presidents, American presidents. All right, they spoke great things. All right, that's verse 9. It says, "I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient of days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire." All right. Now the ancient of days, we already knew what that's talking about, man. All right. That's talking about the Most High, man, Yahweh. Okay. Because guess what? I was going to tell you more about it. All right. It says, "Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, his wheels as burning fire." All right. So he had white woolly hair. All right. And his garment was white. All right. It's verse 10. It said, "A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open." Okay. So there's right there, man. The judgment is set, and the books were open. It's talking about now. All right. The judgment is already set, and the books are now open. Right. And the book is open now as you speak. All right. I got it open in front of you right now. All right. Especially when we go out on the highways and byways, the books are open, man. Okay. And not only that, we understand what's contained within the books. All right. From the laws, the prophets, from the New Testament, the Apocrypha. All right. It's been revealed to us, man. So the books are open now. All right. That's verse 11. It says, "I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even to the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame." So pretty much it's leading up to thermonuclear fire, man. All right. America, which is known as Babylon the Great, is going to be burned with fire, man. That's the end result. Okay. And it says, "At concerning the rest of the beasts that had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time." Now let's go back to Daniel chapter 2. Now I'm at verse 40. All right. It's like you already read verse 40. Now I'm skipped down to verse 44. Actually, it's like here. I need to read on. There's no need to skip the rest of this chapter because this is very important. This is verse 41. It said, "Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." So it says, the kingdom shall be divided, right? With the feet, what goes into the toes. And actually, if you look down at your own feet, we're not idiots. We already know how many toes we have. We have 10 toes, man. Okay. Scripture doesn't specifically say 10 toes, but we know, it's just human anatomy. It's 10 toes. Okay. Now those 10 toes are going into the EU. All right. And that's also going to the 10 horns as well. All right. Because the 10 horns or the 10 toes, which is the EU, because at one point in time, it was called the EEC, was the European Economic Community. All right. And from there, at one point, it was set up, first and foremost, when it was first set up, it was set up as the original six. All right. And then they added more that was a part of the, which was still known as the European Economic Community, which led up to the 10. All right. Now you got pretty much pieces of information that shows you there were more than 10. But the thing is that really a few of those, or should I say a couple of those, were came out of each other. All right. because a couple of those, like I said, they pretty much established their own independence at one point. All right, but they're still the same entity, if you want to put it like that. All right, so it's still that still makes up the 10 toes or the 10 horns. All right. Now, reading on, it says, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. All right, because you see these other nations that's a part of the EU, um, they're partly strong and partly broken because the ones that are strong are of the iron, and the ones that are broken are of the clay. All right, and you actually see that now, man. All right, you see the nations that have power as a part of the EU, and you see the ones that don't have power that are it's like it. The ones that are not the ones that don't have as much power as the ones that do have power, those are part of the clay. All right. Now this verse 43. It says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." All right. So in other words, going back to verse 43, it says, "They shall not cleave one to another as iron is not mixed with clay," because that's why once again it's set up as the EU. Pretty much their own. They have their own establishment. All right. It's one nation set apart from another. All right. And the ones that are strong, pretty much separate from the ones that are broken or weak. All right. Verse 44 it says, "In the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom," in which this whole verse is going to the kingdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right. The kingdom of Yashar Allah, man. All right. The kingdom of Israel is going to be set up in the future. Verse 45, it said, "For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain with thy hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure." All right. Because guess what? Really, that stone that's cut out of the mountain with our hands, that's it speaks about that in Second Esdras. All right. Because Esdras saw that of a great mountain that was cut out, and he said he couldn't find the place where it was cut off from, right? And really, it's going to when Yahweh Shai comes back. All right. Because guess what? Yahweh Shai is known as that stone. All right. But, that goes to something more deeper. But, pretty much that stone is talking about Yahweh Shai making his return. All right. Because guess what? He's going to return. It's going to be as if he returned on a mountain, man. All right. See, us in the know, we know what they're talking about. All right. Because these people call it so-called UFOs, but we know what they are. All right. The chariots of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai is going to return back on the biggest chariot imaginable, man. All right. And it's saying that in breaking pieces the iron, the brass, and the clay, the silver, and the gold, and the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. All right. So after this, pretty much Yahushua comes back and destroyed his kingdom and set up his own kingdom, then that's it, man. After that, there's going to be no more rulerships. All right. That's why the stone was cut out, right? Which breaking pieces of the iron, the brass, and the clay, the silver, and the gold. So that represents that there's going to be no more other kingdoms going to be set up. All right. They're all going to be broken, and there's going to be a place no more found of it. Okay. Because these other nations are not going to get their power back. All right. Verse 46, it said, "Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him." All right. Now, going from now, I'm gonna go back to Daniel chapter 7. All right. And it says, right here at let's see where I left off from. Verse 12. It says, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. All right. So they had the dominion taken away, as I just read earlier in Daniel chapter 2, but the whole statue was broken down. The dominion was taken away. All right. And it says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. All right. Now, the Son of Man is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right. And it said he came with the clouds of heaven, which is talking about the chariots, and came to the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory in the kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So once again, that's just reiterating Daniel chapter, the second chapter, where it speaks about those kingdoms being taken down and no place being found for them no more, and then dominions being taken away. All right, in which this kingdom, which is coming up, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua being set up, is going to be an everlasting kingdom. Okay, that's verse 15. It says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. All right, which we explained that. All right. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. All right. So we're not going to, beg Esau for the kingdom. We're going to take the kingdom, man. All right. It's going to be by force. Verse 19, it said, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which this pretty much gives you a hint of what that's talking about. All right. Because it says, seeing dreadful, whose teeth was of iron, which we talked about earlier about that statue. The iron was the Roman Empire. And it says its nails of brass, in which the brass is going to the Greek Empire. So, like I said before, it's going into Esau. Okay. Which devoured, breaking pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. All right, because America, once again, man, is known as that golden city. All right, because now you have a president here in America, or you have presidents of old, going back to the George Washington and the rest. Now you have these other nations that follow right in suit, because you got a president in Russia, you got a president in other nations, you got a president in China, you got a president of Spain, and more. Okay. And it says, Slakia. Verse 21 says, I beheld, in the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. All right. So guess what? That's going to happen, man. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to make war with us, man. And we're coming up to that time very soon. Okay. And it says, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first. He shall subdue 3 kings. All right. I was talking about earlier about the revolutions. All right, the Revolutionary War. All right. And it says, the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, which America stems from Britain. All right. And it says right here, it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. All right. So, in other words, it's only a little season to where Esau has been given dominion. Okay. Verse 26 said, "But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and our dominion shall serve and obey him." All right. So right here, man, it says, like I said before, it's going to be an everlasting kingdom. Okay. But if you go up a few verses up, pretty much what it speaks about, they shall be given to his hand to a time and times and a dividing of time. Now, time, if you go into times and the dividing of times, really time is 100 years, right? And then times, which that's plural, it's talking about 200 years, right? So 100 years and 200 years, that's 300 years. And it said, in the dividing of time, which if you divide a time, which is 50-50, that's talking about a time and a half, that's 50 years. So it's 350 years. And out of those 350 years came the when we came back into the knowledge, starting with Rabbi Abba Bibbins. All right. Now, verse 26 said, "But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end." All right. So the judgment is set right now, man. And pretty much we're going to take the kingdom, we're going to destroy it, man. All right. It said, "And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High." In other words, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, right? Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. All right. So at the time, Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to be on top again, man. All right. And yeah, he is on top now, but pretty much it's going to be physical. All right. Everybody's going to know him. All right. And guess what? They have to pretty much follow suit. All right. They have to follow our laws, our statutes, our commandments, our rules. All right. Because we'll be in rulership. They have to follow after what we say. All right. Now, verse 28, it say, "Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart." All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that, man. Yeah, that pretty much ends it off for this lesson. You know, oh yeah, Khan, yeah, I pretty much just hit the stream of Shalom. Yeah, man, Matthew 6-10. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read your precept real quick. See, Matthew 6-10. Yeah, that's right. It says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven." All right. And see, the precept that I brought out is beautiful. Is because the judgment is already set, like I just read earlier. The judgment is set in the spirit world, right? Everything is already written, all right? And now we're just waiting for it to play out, all right? Because Yahweh, being the Most High, he's called the Ancient of Days for a reason, all right? He's called the Ancient of Days because he dwells outside the realm of time, all right? Because 1,000 years to us, like it says in the book of Peter, I believe it's not sure if it's 2 Peter or not, or 1 Peter, but it says 1,000 years to us is a day to the Lord, man. A day to Yahweh Ba Shem Yahushai. All right. So pretty much everything's already happened in the spirit world. All right. But right now, when in this time frame, which we're living now, which is 24 hours in the day, pretty much we're just waiting for it to play out. All right. That's why it says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven." All right. So the kingdom is already prepared right? So now we're just waiting for it to make its way here. All right, we're waiting for it to appear. We're waiting for it to be established here on Earth. Okay. So, like I said, man, it's a beautiful precept that I brought up because that's true. All right. So pretty soon, we're about to see that happen, man. All right, we're about to see that kingdom. We're speaking about Matthew 6. We're about to witness it, man. All right. And so with that, yeah, man, it's like that's pretty much hit the nail right on the head. Like I said, the water for the precept is pretty much adding some gasoline to the fire, the water Barakatah how about Shemi Al-Shai. But with that, man, hopefully, the Akim that pretty much is tuning in or might check out the video. Hopefully you were edified with this lesson. Like I said before, man, iron sharpening iron, man. So with that, once again, man, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, all that rule very well. So continually still doing his work here strong, man, for 30 years plus, man. Still doing this in all diligence, man. And shalom and salutations and peace and safety to the hopefully elect. That's also doing his work in all faith, truth, sincerity, and giving all diligence. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.